In our nation's capital, a rare day in college basketball. And inside Capital One Arena, we say hail to the victors valiant, the leader of the conquering heroes. Hail, hail to Dusty May, the leader of the #1 team in the country. They will take on Duke in a matter of moments. The Blue Devils will load up their team bus. They will make their way here and start their shoot-around at about 11 o'clock Eastern time. In Houston, another top 4 matchup. The Wildcats, a little bit beaten up by injury, here to take on #2 Houston. And we'll have Kelvin Sampson on the show. We're going to have guests here as we watch Michigan and Duke shoot around behind us. A crowd is poured into Capital One Arena. There'll be about 20,000 people here tonight. Get-in prices are off the charts for this rare matchup in February. And what a day we are expecting. Delighted to have you with us on College Game Day. Rece Davis, Seth Greenberg, Andraya Carter, Jay Williams, and Jay Bilas. We've never done this before. Michigan's going to be out in a little less than 15 minutes and start their shoot-around. This is the kind of day that you dream of in the regular season, on a day when they're going to announce the top 16 seeds. Sort of feels like this might be the Final Four.
I mean, it basically is a Final Four, and especially for Duke and Michigan to play a non-conference game on a neutral site like this. You just don't see games like this. You've got the only two teams in college basketball that are ranked in the top 10 in both offensive and defensive efficiency. Michigan ranked in the top 5 in both. We've got 2 National Player of the Year candidates, Yaxel Lendeborg of Michigan and Cameron Boozer at Duke. It's an amazing game to play, and with this practice with fans in here, it simulates what you'll get at a Final Four. It's an amazing experience. We need more of this. The fans want it, the players want it. Usually it's the coaches that don't want it.
I actually think we will get a lot more of this in the future because of where it falls on the calendar year. When you think about, look, there's not as much heavy chatter about the NFL draft. The NBA is coming off All-Star Weekend. March Madness isn't here, but it feels like, guys, I mean, outside of the Final Four National Championship, this is probably the biggest day of college basketball I can experience in probably my time calling the sport. I mean, it's that massive, and we're getting National Player of the Year candidates, and we're getting National Championship contenders.
It's funny that you mentioned NBA, because to me, this kind of feels like NBA on Christmas Day, where you know
Yes.
you are getting the best teams that are playing each other. You're getting a preview of the playoffs. That's what we're getting here. NBA on Christmas Day, we get that every year. We should get something like this every year.
These aren't games. These 2 games are events. They're bigger than just a single game because they kind of have a huge impact. And I'll tell you the team that could have the greatest impact. If Michigan whacks Duke big, it's Michigan against the field when we get to the NCAA tournament.
And maybe #1 overall seed, the winner of this game is going to have maybe the best case to get that #1 seed overall when time comes. #1 Michigan in the rankings against Duke. They are the top 2 teams in the net rankings. Wolverines averaging nearly 91 points per game, scoring against the Blue Devils. Very difficult. It's over 63 points per game they are allowing. So to win the whole thing, which is what the goal is for teams of this caliber, Michigan is the favorite, followed by Arizona, Duke, and Houston, the 4 teams that will square off, and the others on the outside. And maybe we'll talk a little bit later on about those most likely to challenge these Elite 4 teams. So, look, nobody's giving out a trophy at the end of this game, but it feels big.
Good.
What
Good.
can we learn from this today that would be instructive once the tournament starts?
Well, I think seeding is important for a day like today. I think that's what we'll learn. Also, look, I love the big stages. I love when games are extremely meaningful and you get a chance to see who rises to that occasion. Let's just think about this game in particular. You think about the trio of bigs that we see for Michigan. And in a way, we don't talk about their bigs the way you talk about other top players in the country up for National Player of the Year. But Yaxel Lendeborg is a guy that should be in that conversation, right? So you think about a guy like Cameron Boozer, who's always on the outside. Like in every NBA draft, you have him as #3. Everybody always says it's AJ DeBonce or Darren Peterson. But in a game like this, when all the eyeballs are on this game, this is not only a chance for both teams to solidify their front court, but for a guy like that to move up the draft board, or even the Yaxel to say, hey, I actually am involved in the conversation.
We're going to find out who the best team is. That's what we're going to find out. And Michigan, if they put, the way I'm viewing this, if Michigan plays their best, nobody beats them. I think they're the best team. And what they've done, their front court, to Jay Williams' point, they're able to cover up the rim. Only 20% of opponent shots come at the rim, and they score 43%. They shoot 43% against at the rim against Michigan. Andraya blocks almost 3 shots per game, and he changes a ton of shots. They're an excellent offensive rebounding team. They've got great balance. They've got positional size. And Duke could disrupt that. Like, if Duke beats them, then maybe that changes. But I don't see it. When Michigan plays their best, they're the best team.
Dynamic warm-ups in the hall coming up. They'll have the run out in a few minutes to start their shoot-around at about 10:15.
Yeah, I just think about this as a player. Like, when you're in the Final Four and you're warming up in the hallway, you're in the NCAA tournament, this is what this feels like. I love this opportunity for Duke. When you look at Arizona, Houston, and Michigan, they have all had multiple opportunities at top 10 matchups since January. This is Duke's only top 10 matchup since January, so this will be a huge test for Duke.
I'm bringing it back, boys. Roster construction. I look at this Michigan team, the way they are put together. They retained the right players. They went into the portal and went 4 for 4 in the portal. They're old, experienced, physical, tough, long. They make you react to them against the Duke team that basically 60% of their points almost come from their freshman class. So it's kind of a difference of how you're building your team, but the roster construction of Michigan has been incredible.
Did you pay attention to my State of the Union address off the top?
I pay attention to everything you say for a short period of time.
Yeah, such great access. We thought we'd just pull somebody off the floor. Morez Johnson joining me now, part of this great front court for Michigan. You walk out onto this court for shoot-around. What's your goal out here right now?
Make sure we focus on winning the cash, talking, getting our energy high for tonight, making sure we're ready to go later.
I always think it's interesting when you walk into a new building in terms of like sight lines and the lights. What do you look at when you walk onto a court for the first time?
Like banners and stuff like that, retired jerseys. I don't know. I don't be thinking about that stuff.
What makes you guys the best front court in the nation?
Very versatile. Everybody can do a little bit of everything. A dodge 7-3, that right there make us different. And we got an edge. We want to make sure we let everybody know we're the best front court in the country.
I won't take up too much of your time. Go get it in a workout. I appreciate it.
Of course, thank you.
Let's make our way across the court. Let's see who we can go get. Let's go get Nimari. Hey, I'm Chris. How's it going? Good to see you. Thanks for letting us borrow you during shoot-around. You come out here. You still got 8 hours until tip. What's the process here right now?
To do everything with focus and intention, to get in the mindset, to get ready for tonight. So we're looking forward to it.
Is this a usual Dusty May shoot-around? You got fans, cameras everywhere?
Definitely not. But at the same time, we do things like this every single day. So it's nothing but habits and reps. And we're just doing that right now.
As a 6-year guy, you come to play for Dusty May. What's the best thing about playing for him?
How unselfish of a coach he is and how he instills us to be unselfish as well. And you see that throughout the entire season, us playing together and doing whatever it takes to win.
I appreciate the time. We'll see you later tonight.
Thank you.
Rece, back to you.
Chris, Nimari, thank you. Jay, you mentioned unselfishness. You just heard Nimari say it. He was a highly touted guy coming out of high school, Texas Tech, Alabama, now at Michigan the last couple of years. Sort of embodies that entire spirit.
Yeah, and Nimari Burnett has improved every year that he's been in college. He was known as a defender early on, but I mean, he had 31 points against Penn State. He was 7 of 10 from 3. All these guys, their versatility is really valuable for this team, but more their selflessness. Like, people say this, but I think it applies to Michigan. They don't care who gets the credit. You know, they do their job. Morez Johnson Jr., who Chris Button just spoke to first, he's the best offensive rebounder on this team. Against ranked teams, he's averaging 16 points a game, shooting 73% from the field. I mean, they have different guys that can do it, and Michigan has one thing that I don't think they've got another gear. Like that game they played against Northwestern when it looked like they were going to get upset, they stepped on the gas in the second half and blew out Northwestern. I mean, they've got another gear that very few teams have.
And they're also just so connected. I mean, for a team with so many transfers, the way that it's like they know where each other is going to be on the court. One person cuts and they know exactly where the ball is supposed to go. The unselfishness, how connected they are, and defensively to me, how they have so many different ways to guard you. They have so many different guards who can be on the ball. Their bigs are mobile defensively. They cover for each other. This is such a connected team. You have to give Dusty May a lot of credit for putting it together.
Michigan out on the floor. They'll be out here for about a half hour or so. We're joined by the head coach at Michigan, Dusty May. Dusty, we just heard what Pete said. We understand why this is great for us, why it's great for the fans. Why is allowing this type of access on a day of a game like this good for Michigan basketball?
For a number of reasons. First, it puts our guys under the spotlight, and they deserve it. To see a team that has there's zero maintenance, there's no ego except a team ego, and so we want those guys to put Michigan on the map and be the model for what we're looking for going forward.
Dusty, I'm looking at roster construction. You retained the right guys, but you went into the spring and you had no front court, and you all of a sudden you hit it out of the park, 4 for 4 in the portal. When you're putting together your roster, what was your focal point coming into that spring?
Well, recruiting is so niche anyway, and when anyone in the country watched Vlad and Danny and those guys play last year, they could envision playing in our system and the way we play. And so we became an attractive program for big guys that want to be involved, that enjoy sharing it, and are skilled. And so we went out and got the guys we felt fit that model as far as unselfishness, passing ability, and basketball IQ. We knew that it was going to be a little bit clunky early, but we felt like our defense would be able to overcome it with that size.
Coach, you know, the Players Era Championship was so big for your team. You had some close games early in the season, and then you dominated out in Vegas. What started to click for your group in those games?
A number of things. First, it showed us that we were able to elevate our play when the stakes were the highest, and that's not always the case. And so when we got in that environment in Vegas, you could see we became quicker, we became more athletic, and then we felt like we were on the verge of a breakthrough. We didn't know it happened that quickly, but once it happened, then you could just see the guys really getting more comfortable with each other, our rotations, how each guy zigged when the other one zagged, and just we continued from there.
Dusty, first off, you're up here looking pretty swole. What's the push-up ab routine? What's going on here, man? It makes me want to do some cardio.
I'm going to shout out my guy, Matt Aldridge.
Yeah.
He gets
it looks like
right.
it.
He puts a lot of peer pressure. But when our guys are in the weight room lifting, it's one way for us to go spend time with them. Typically during a weight session, if we're not doing something organized, someone 1, 2, 3, 4 of our staff members are lifting with our players and really showing them how to move weight.
Hey. I like that. 10 30-point wins or more, 7 40-point wins. You know, I come from the Coach K lineage. You come from the Bob Knight lineage. What kind of things have you learned that you utilize throughout the course of the season when you win by such margins to keep your team mentally engaged for the next opponent?
Well, it's good for the mental health to have those margins late. Last year, we were in so many one-possession games, and we learned from that. But this year, it was more just play the next possession. We've talked a lot about turning the scoreboard off. Let's continue to develop. Let's figure some new things out. And we've even experimented in some games with things we might see down the line and get some practice reps in the game-like environment. But it's been a lot of fun.
You know, Dusty, last season, there were only 2 players in the country that led their teams in scoring, rebounding, assists, steals, and blocks. It was Cooper Flagg at Duke and Yaxel Lendeborg at UAB. Now he's playing for you at Michigan. What does he bring? I mean, he's a superstar, but what does he bring to your team that you don't see in a box score?
His personality traits, his humility, his selflessness. He doesn't want to be bigger than the group. He doesn't really want to be out in front of the group. He wants to be with his guys. And when someone that's as celebrated as Yax acts like that, and it's not fake, he's not putting on a show, it's just easier for all of us to fall in line and just be one of the dudes.
I don't know if you saw the sign. There was a sign behind you that said you're still Bob Knight's favorite student manager. And I was thinking earlier, you know, the story resurfaced again about Coach Knight going into halftime at the Olympics. They're up on Spain by 30 points and saying, what am I going to do? Maybe I'll yell at Michael Jordan about setting screens. Do you have similar thoughts at halftime at Purdue the other night? Because, I mean, I don't know what you could possibly yell at him about after that first half.
No, we botched the last minute of the first half. So on a little bit of negativity.
Wait a minute, but on the Bob Knight, being a manager for Bob Knight at Indiana, what's the weirdest thing you had to get from him? Because his eating tastes were a little off.
Jay, we talked about this on 94 Feet a couple years ago. It's the Chocola and it's the Mr. Pibb and chocolate milk combination to form some home brew of Chocola.
So what's the rest of the day going to be like for you? Is it going to be a cold brew and Chocola and donuts, or what do you got?
Hopefully I can go for a walk at some point and get some air, and then just try to finalize some notes. We got in late last night, so we're a little bit out of our routine, but really just when you have these guys, you're not too stressed on game days.
Well, I tell you what, we can't tell you how
that must be nice
for giving us this type of access, for joining us. He was never stressed.
He's still stressed now. He's stressed now before the game tonight.
These dudes, I wouldn't be stressed either.
He's more relaxed than Seth Greenberg. What does that say?
This is the best I've slept in years.
Dusty, thanks a lot, man. Good luck tonight against Duke. Dusty May took Fort Atlantic to the Final Four, trying to take Michigan there this year. I met Dusty May on a few minutes ago, and we talked a little bit about how he built his team. Yaxel Lendeborg, after a great year at UAB, moving there. Morez Johnson, Mara, Elliot, Cadeau. And, of course, Nimari Burnett's been around, but he had a couple of stops before there, and everything fits together, including the guys who come off the bench. As a result, they're 25-1 and have been routinely blowing people out of the water, led by these two guys, Yaxel Lendeborg and Elliot Cadeau. Hey, look, both you guys were terrific players at your previous stops, but you've elevated your games. What is it about playing for Michigan in this system and with these teammates, Yaxel, that's helped you elevate your game even more?
I would say just realizing that I have a lot of great talent around me, and that there's not so much pressure on me to have to go out there and like prove myself or score the ball a little more than like I did last year. You know, I trust these guys 100%, and I'm willing to, take 2 shots a game if it means we're going to keep winning like this.
You know, Elliot, you've had to make some adjustments coming into Dusty May's system. We've heard him talk about it. You're playing phenomenal basketball, but what were those adjustments like for you early on?
Yeah, this is kind of the most different team I ever played on in my life. So, like, just not bringing the ball up every time, that was a big adjustment for me. Playing off the ball, which I think added another aspect to my game, which was good for me.
What else makes it different, though? Like, what else make it, obviously, like, chemistry is a real thing, right? So when guys come in from different programs, different parts of the country, you guys have to find that quickly. How did you guys find that?
I think it just naturally happened. Like, the team is full of playmakers. Everybody can pass the ball very well, so I feel like when you mesh that together, like, chemistry just comes by itself a little bit.
And I would say our winning list to play defense, like, there's a lot of guys that put forth their offensive abilities to get an extra stop on defense, which really goes a long way as far as our trust and our belief in each other.
And you can see that on the court, but it seems like you guys really get along and like each other in every aspect of what you're doing. So this is for both of you. If you ever need anything, you're ever in trouble, and you got one phone call to make to a teammate, who you calling and why?
I'm gonna go Morez Johnson. He's the most like mature guy in the group, and he takes everything in life seriously. Like, he'll crack a smile, but he's all business.
Elliot, who you calling?
I say LJ. I'm the closest with him on the team, and this is actually a true story. It's kind of embarrassing to say, but one time I ran out of gas in the middle of the road. I called LJ, and he was there for me in 10 minutes.
What are you doing with that NIL money, man? There's a thing called credit cards.
Yeah.
Tell us something about Coach May that maybe people would not realize. Coach May is this. What makes him so special?
Man, he's a put you first guy. A lot of coaches just use players just for their talents. He actually sees the best in you and wants the best for you. And something that he does that's really interesting is he gets in our practices, dribbles the ball up the court, passes it to us, and he works out with us in the weight room every day.
Does he have a game?
He can shoot, yeah.
He said he pushes more weight than you guys. Is that true?
No, that's not true.
Okay, I'm just saying he was up on the set swole.
No,
he was talking about it.
No.
Elliot just rolled his eyes.
He said, and I quote, "I show them how to move weight."
That is not true at all.
What is true, Elliot, you have a little bit of a history with Duke. You can say whatever you want to about the matchup, because Yaxel said stuff about Purdue, and they just went out and backed it up.
Don't do that to him.
So
leave Yaxel alone.
No. So what does this mean to you? What does this mean to you? You've had some battles with him in the past.
Yeah, I mean, it means a lot to me. It's kind of extra personal for me. I was a part of the rivalry, and I lost to them 3 times in a row last year, so it's kind of personal for me to get this win back.
Since you won, you don't mind me bringing that up, do you? Since you won?
I never saw that coming. I didn't see that coming.
It's not kind of personal for Elliot. It's not kind of personal. It's personal. That's good, though. It should be
One
that
second
way.
the guy's presidential, the next second, I don't know.
Yaxel, Rece is the guy we don't call after.
That's right. I'm the one that siphoned the gas tank out of the car and left him on empty. I'm the one. Guys, thanks a lot for being with us. We appreciate this. Hope you have a great night tonight. You played great. Continued success. Thanks for spending time.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
There they are. Just tremendous players, great guys. Yaxel Lendeborg, Elliot Cadeau. Look at Pete Thamel. Of course, he's got it. But what's that going to run you if you sit there in the game tonight, Pete?
Feet on the wood.
Well, Rece, we know D.C. is one of the great basketball towns in the country. Fans here just haven't had a lot to root for in terms of high-end college or NBA ball in recent years. So combine that backdrop with Duke and Michigan both having strong alumni bases here in the district, and it's created a perfect storm for ticket prices. To get in the building today, the average price is $315. For these very seats on the maple hardwood, $6,680 per seat. This is the second most expensive event in this building, trailing only John Cena's final WWE appearance. Tickets are so expensive, Duke AD Nina King joked with me this week she wished she charged more for face value. Let's hope for the fans here in the district tonight, starving for some good ball, that the action on the floor matches the prices they paid to get in.
I'm sorry, Pete. Can you repeat what was that John Cena thing again?
I believe it was this.
There we
taught
go.
me that.
That's the goal coming up for this year, and Jon Scheyer gracious enough to join us right now. John, this is a unique situation. How does it help your team prepare for the NCAA tournament to put them in an environment like this, to have an open shoot around and play a team like Michigan?
Well, one, I just love seeing all the Duke blue in here. Like, this is amazing having all our fans in here. How cool is this? I just think it's great in the month of February to get a feel for what the postseason is all about, right? And this is like the first round of the NCAA tournament. You have an open practice, a lot of hype, a lot of talk about it, and how can you focus in on what's most important? And I think our guys have been in some unique environments, but this to me is the best one. And we're excited to play a really good Michigan team and see where we're at tonight.
You know, John, there's as good as your team is, and it's a contending team that's Final Four national championship good. There's nothing in the rule book that says you can't get better at the end of February, into March, and through the tournament. When you look at your roster and how you've performed, where's the growth you think you can experience going down the stretch?
Well, I think the more that we're in different environments, playing really good teams, I think you learn different lessons. I think that's happened to us already. I look at the growth of our defense. You know, you think about the beginning of ACC play, we weren't very good on the defensive end. We took a step back. And then I think recently, the last week or two, you look at the growth of our offense. You know, we always talk about what's next and, you know, how can you get to the next play and how to play to our strengths. I think those two areas we've seen grow in different moments. And now the challenge is how can we put it together at the highest level for the last month of the season.
John, talk a little bit about Dame Sarr and how much you've seen his growth on the defensive end, especially at the point of attack, which I know has been very critical for you guys.
Dame's been incredible for us, man. You know, Dame has, just a big-time fire on the defensive end, his versatility, his ability to guard different players. And then for us, he's a disruptor. So it's not just being able to stop guys, but also being able to create deflection steals where we can get out on the offensive end. But I love the fact of how he just has grown this year, embraced how college basketball is different, even though he played at Barcelona, and that's a high level. There's an adjustment period, and he's been awesome to coach and been working his butt off every day.
38 years old. You've replaced Coach K seamlessly. You've had incredible success on the court. But what about the responsibility? Not only are you coaching this Duke team, you also got one of Duke's all-time great players' sons playing for you. What kind of responsibility do you feel like you have coaching those guys and this team? Because I think it's different. Not many guys at 38 are coaching former Blue Devils kids.
I mean, I don't know if that can happen again. You know, it's a pretty rare thing, right? And fortunately, with Booz, he's at all our games and so supportive. He just lets us coach his guys, man. Like, that's what's awesome about it. And they wanted to be, of course, they understand the legacy and all that, but they want to be themselves. They want to go through this process in their own way, and I'm just really grateful for him with how he just supported us, coaching his sons. And Cadeau and Cam are pretty good, and they've had a big time year.
Coach, you talked a little bit about the growth of your players and the growth of your team, but before we got into this interview, Rece was talking about all of your success. How would you say you've grown as a head coach so far?
Man, it's hard for me to talk about myself. I don't like talking about myself as much. I think the thing I've had an appreciation for understanding the ups and downs of a season, for how it can go, and I would stay level-headed in tough moments. I think that's the experience that I've had as a player here and as a coach. But I think the best thing you can do, and I think I have a better understanding in year 4 than I did in year 1, I think you find what works for you. I think you have to really find your identity of what you believe in as a coach, whether that be schematically, offense or defense, or whether that be how you practice or what you're going to hold you guys accountable to. And I'm proud of our staff. I think we've been really consistent, this year in terms of how we're going to play, what we expect, and then finding a way to come back to that when it's not working as well.
We ran a piece earlier in the show about the history between Duke and Michigan and the high-stakes games that they've played over the years, a number of top 5 matchups. What do you remember?
Well, I remember, watching those games. I remember, obviously, you think about the documentaries. I remember Duke winning, a lot of them.
10 of 11, I think.
Yeah, so, we want to keep that going, of course. I think it's great for the game for us to play each other.
What's the rest of the day like for you?
Oh, man, try to get some rest, even though you probably can't do that very well. And going to really just lock in on, what I want to make sure our final message is for our guys before tonight. But just going to try to relax and get away a little bit.
All right,
Good luck
John,
with that.
Yeah, which I'm not going to be able to do. I say that, I'm not going to relax at all.
But maybe you can check out Houston, Arizona this afternoon.
Yeah, exactly.
The other Final Four type of game. John, great to see you. Thank you for all the access.
Thank you.
A lot of statements can be made. You're looking at the Blue Devils winding up their shoot-around tip-off tonight, 6:30 Eastern Time on ESPN. Pleased to be joined. A couple of stars from the Duke team, and Cameron Boozer and Isaiah Evans now. You hear the crowd. The crowd's enjoyed watching these shoot-arounds, open practices. It's been great for television. We think it's good for the exposure of the program. For both of you guys, what do you think about doing this? Practicing in front of people, having it be a little more public than some things might be.
I mean, I kind of enjoyed it. Seeing the fans out here, the energy they're bringing, gets me a little excited for tonight. Like Scheyer said, there's a lot of Duke Blue out here, so just excited for tonight for sure.
Yeah, I mean, I'm always, happy to see the fans, get a feel for the arena, and then just, get in here early, get ready to go.
Cam, your dad played for a long tenure professionally, and a lot of times when you watch you play like an older, more experienced player. Was that because of the time you spent with your dad and other pros, like growing up around the game and kind of understanding the positioning and the timing of it?
Yeah, definitely been surrounded by, some great mentors, great coaching my whole life. I've seen a lot of great players, being in the family room in the NBA. You see a lot of great players come through. So just being around the game for so long has definitely taught me a lot.
Was there anybody in particular that you remember stood out?
Not in particular, a lot of guys. I remember, meeting Derrick Rose. That was a big thing for me. So, but no in particular.
When we talk about Duke on the air and games that we're calling, there's so much of the attention that we give to you two guys, and rightfully so, given how well you've played and how important you've been to your team and to the game. But each one of you, give us a teammate that you don't think gets enough credit and why.
I mean, I'll go first. I'll go Dame Sarr. I think the way he disrupts offenses, gets his hands in the lane, deflection. Me and him, we got a little bet going on today, so I'm going to say Dame Sarr, his defensive intensity.
Yeah, I'm going to say Caleb Foster, just because he's just a veteran in our locker room that's just going to keep our heads straight. He's going to push the ball. He's going to get peg touches, and he's just always that voice that's telling us what we need to do.
Isaiah, I want to go back to you because when you talk about your growth from last season to this season, Coach Scheyer has talked about it a lot, but where do you think your game has sort of transformed or taken a jump this year?
I just think I'm just so much more smarter defensively. I got a little stronger. I'm able to just impose my will on the defensive side a lot more. And then offensively, I feel like I'm just a lot more comfortable. I just have a little bit more experience now.
You're putting that ball on the ground, man. I see you dancing with it now.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
Cam, you've won every level you've played at. Championships, USA basketball. So I'm going to ask Slim, what makes him a winning player?
Because Cam's going to show up and be the same dude every day. And then when he's not going to let him do that. Like, no, you're Cam Boozer. Be that dude every day. We're riding with you. And, just be that guy.
What matchup do you feel like you need to control or have an edge in to win the game against Michigan tonight?
I'll definitely say the rebounding battle. Obviously they're a big team. We're a big team too. Two of the best rebounding teams in the country, I feel like. So I feel like that's going to it might determine the game tonight for sure.
Cam, I want to ask you one last question. Obviously, growing up with your brother Cade, and you've seen his growth throughout the course of the season as well. What do you think you need from him tonight as well?
Just to run his team, control the offense, get guys in the right spots, make plays, touch the paint, kick outs, be aggressive when he needs to. You know, obviously, you see him signing jerseys over there. He could probably hear me.
He can definitely hear you.
Yeah, that's what I would say for sure.
Hey, look how kind of it's a Michigan fan's jersey signing too.
Hey, you know, for the people, man, the people right there.
Selfies. Look there it is.
Yeah.
Thanks, guys.
Guys, thanks a lot. You guys are the best. So congratulations on a great season so far. Look forward to seeing you play tonight. Best of luck tonight against the Wolverines.
Thank
Cameron
you.
Boozer.
Thank you.
Isaiah Evans. We'll see him. Monumental, as it were. Who wins the game?
This is going to be a big-time game. This is going to be so much fun to watch. In the end, I think the front court of Michigan and a tough matchup on Lendeborg is the difference in this basketball game. I like Michigan.
Yeah, I'm so intrigued in this matchup. We talked about it. Cameron Boozer leads the country in dunks and layups, and Michigan is so good at protecting the rim. So I'm excited to see how that plays out. Cameron Boozer could take over this game, but I'm picking Michigan to win because of their balance, the dynamic guards that they have, the guards they have coming in off the bench that can get in double figures. I just think they have more weapons as a team.
I mean, there's no doubt we could see this game in the national championship game, and I think, you know, Michigan's front court is up there with the best front courts in the nation, if not the best. I think Gungba and Malik Brown are two additions to Cameron Boozer that have to play critically well tonight. The best team doesn't always win the game in the moment, and I would say that I think Duke right now, with their ceiling offensively, it's getting better and better and better. I'm going to take Duke to win this game tonight because I think ultimately at the point of attack, Dame Sarr will be able to hinder a little bit of Elliot Cadeau, and I think that's going to come out to that matchup and inside.
All right, now Jay's calling the game with Dan Shulman, so he won't make a pick, but what decides this game?
I think it can Duke score around the rim.
Yeah.
Because Michigan protects the rim as well or better than any team in the country. With their shot blocking, they're an outstanding rebounding team. And I think Duke's got to be able to keep them off the offensive glass, especially Morez Johnson Jr. He is an outstanding offensive rebounder.